Recording in progress.
Your video.
الرحمن الرحيم الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر الخالق البارئ المصور الغفار القهار الوهاب الرزاق الفتاح العليم القابض الباسط الخافض الرافع المعز المذل
يعني هذا
المصير
هذا ميري
العليم اللطيف الخبير الحليم
السلام عليكم.
العظيم الغفور الشكور العليم الكبير الحفيظ المقيت الحسيب الجليل الكريم الرقيب
ये तुम्हारा इच्छा है, ये इच्छा है भाई।
आ रहा है
हाँ, नहीं ऐसा है।
और देखो अंकित नीचे है
الشهيد الحق الوكيل القوي المتين الولي الحميد المحصي المبدي المعين المحيي المميت الحي القيوم الواجد
Video.
गैलरी व्यू,
Hmm?
स्विच टू गैलरी व्यू हो रहा है। इसको
Who
क्या
said
करूं,
that?
इसको
You.
क्या करूं,
That's
बंद
you.
कर दो ये।
Why?
मैं तो ऐसे मैं what you're getting, I mean,
Don't you want people to see you?
الباطن الوالي المتعالي البر التواب المنتقم
huh? You want to join?
जी नहीं बनती में अपना कैमरा
You want to start your video?
Yeah, video, audio both. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. आजा बाजू।
नहीं वो देखो हाँ भेजे
थोड़ी देर आ रहा है, थोड़ी देर चले जा रहा है। See, this is how it is. उनका देखा है? ये क्या है?
तुम हो
हाँ क्यों है?
मैं तो
म्यूट कर दिया मेरा मेरा चेहरा
मेरे नाम पे हो गया
नहीं आ रहा ऊपर ठीक है अब ठीक है तो
Now you can hear. Closer to you. Otherwise, they won't able to hear. So you're right here.
वो देखेंगे स्क्रीन कास्ट का
You're on. I'm trying to see if you can. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to. Usually you can see a whole grid. Let me see.
परवेज आपकी आवाज आ रही?
मेरे फोन में नहीं है वो कनेक्ट स्मार्ट नहीं है मेरे फोन में आपके फोन में है इसका
Okay, now you can go. I can hear you now.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Alaikum salam.
So today we are coming together today to remember and celebrate the life of Taya Baba. So Taya Baba, to me, he's my Taya, and his name is Janab Mirza Ahmed Baig. And today we'll hear from his friends, from his family. He was loved by the community, and he was the husband of Tayama Mahbub Baig. He was the father of Sumera, Imran, and Abrar, the father-in-law of Shoaib Bhai, and the father-in-law of Sarah, and the grandfather of Nabiha, Anbiya, Ibrahim, Suleiman, and Ismail. And again, we're going to hear from some of the family members and some of his dear friends. So now what I'd like to do is I'd like to turn the floor over to Parvez Chicha, Taya Baba's youngest brother.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much. Farah. We'll start from here. I'm waiting for my friend here. One moment. Sorry, he's having problem with his link. We'll start in a moment. Can we, Farah, go ahead with Anbiya? Then we'll come back to me.
Anbiya also said she was having some connection issues. I think she's trying to reconnect now.
Okay.
So if I ask that everyone stay muted, they're speaking. I'll try to keep everyone muted, but if you could just also please make sure. So I don't see that Anbiya has joined again. I think she's still trying. Let's see.
Let me start with our speakers here. We have on the line. The Sagir Bhai. The Sagir Bhai. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. On behalf of Baig family, we welcome you. We are grateful that in spite of your busy schedule, you were able to join us at this time of sorrow. आपके मसरूफियत के बावजूद आप लोग यहाँ पर मौजूद हैं, इसलिए हम आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रगुजार हैं। इस वक्त प्रोग्राम शुरू करने से पहले मेरे बड़े भाई से हमारी काफ़ी करीबी ताल्लुकात थे, वो इस अब दुनिया में नहीं रहे, जिसका हमें काफ़ी अफसोस है। जैसे हमारे बहन Janara said one time that the man who gave us so much joy and who make us laugh every day has left us with tears in our eyes, and he's a irreplaceable loss for our family. मगर फिर वो इन्ना लिल्लाहि व इन्ना इलैहि राजिऊन। Verily we belong to Allah, and to Him do we return. My family and I are deeply touched by the outpouring of love and support from so many people who have touched our lives during this past few days. The condolences messages left on our phones are really meant so much to us. We have gathered here some of his best friends and intimate, personally who know him very well. आज उनसे हम बात करेंगे, वो कुछ अपने बयानात देंगे हमारे भाई के साथ जो वक्त गुजरा उनका। तो सबसे पहले मैं गुलाम कादर साहब से दरख्वास्त करूंगा कि उनके बारे में कुछ नज़्म सुनाएं। गुलाम कादर साहब। गुलाम खादर साहब, आपका माइक्रोफोन म्यूट है। माइक्रोफोन म्यूट है आपका। या आ गया।
मैं दिख रहा हूँ आप लोगों को?
जी जी।
परवेज मैं दिख रहा हूँ आपको?
जी।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम। मैं गुलाम खादर खान, मैं जी मैं अहमद बेग से मेरे तकरीबन 65 साल से ज़्यादा है, 65 ईयर्स ज़्यादा मैं उनके साथ रहा हूँ। हम महल्ला से हिमायत नगर में हैदराबाद में, और बहुत ही करीब था हमारा उनका घर। तो तकरीबन हफ्ते में 2-3 बार जाता था घर को उनके, बैठते थे हम। तोगरा बेग से चूँकि मेरे क्लासमेट थे, उनसे मिलने जाता था मैं, तो अहमद बेग से भी मुलाकात हो जाती और हम लोग अहमद बेग से बात करते, उनसे पूछते भाई कुछ लतीफ़े सुनाइए, तो हमको लतीफ़े सुनाते। होते होते उनसे भी बड़ी दोस्ती बढ़ गई और बहुत करीब हो गए। अहमद बेग भी हमारे से पूरे ग्रुप में शामिल हो गए। तो जाना आना, कभी जाके ओरिएंट में चाय पी लेते, कभी जाके ताजमहल में डोसे खा लेते, कभी चाइनीज होटल में जाके खाना खाते। तो बड़ा साथ था हमारा उनका अहमद बेग का। हर जगह पिकनिक में जाते, निज़ाम सागर जाते, 100 मील था वहाँ से, जाके 2-2 दिन रहते थे जाके वहाँ। तो अहमद बेग हर जगह पे उनसे मुलाकात रही, हर जगह पे मैं उनके साथ रहा और उनसे इतनी तकलीफ है उनसे उनके जाने की मैं बयान नहीं कर सकता हूँ। अहमद बेग की इतनी खूबियाँ थे कि उनको बताने के लिए वक्त भी नहीं मिलता है, इतनी खूबियाँ थे। सबसे बड़ी बात, इतने खुलूस आदमी थे वो, इतने खुलूस थे कि जब मिलते थे किसी से तो वो समझता था कि मुझसे ही ज़्यादा करीब है ये। हर आदमी का ये ख्याल था कि अहमद बेग मुझसे ज़्यादा करीब है। ये बहुत बड़ी बात है, इतनी बड़ी बात। और अहमद बेग दोस्तों के दोस्त थे, दावतें करने का बड़ा शौक़ था। हर महीना दावतें करते यहाँ पे। और यहाँ ख़ास बात यह है कि यहाँ जब हम आ गए अमेरिका, तो यहाँ से दोस्ती में जो रिश्तेदारी बदल गई, हमारी रिश्तेदारी हो गई। मेरी बेटी सारा की शादी उनके बेटे इमरान से होगी, तो दोस्ती जो है जाके रिश्तेदारी में होगी। अब यहाँ पर भी जो है हम फ्री मार्ट में करीब रहते थे, मुलाकात होती थी। वो अक्सर दावतें करते हैं, वो हर महीना जो है तकरीबन
करना पड़ता, पहले वाईफाई से कनेक्ट करना पड़ता है कॉल।
हेलो। तो हर महीना तकरीबन 12-15 लोगों की दावत करते, शायरी होती, लतीफ़े होते। बड़ा शौक़ था दावतें करने का। और उनकी इंतज़ामी सलाहियत का अंदाज़ा इस बात से देखिए कि वो यहाँ रहकर,
हेलो अस्सलाम वालेकुम,
वो यहाँ रहकर यहाँ से शिकागो में मदरसा शारिया का जलसे करवाते थे। ये बहुत बड़ी बात थी, यहाँ रह के वहाँ से हज़ारों मील रह के दूर के जलसे करवाना, और कामयाब जलसे होते थे। तो और मगर उनके जाने का जो अफसोस है और जो दुख है हमको, वो इतनी आसानी से नहीं जाएगा। वो तो बरसों लग जाएंगे जाने के लिए, बरसों। उमूमन जो है कहते हैं कि वक्त हर चीज़ का इलाज है, मगर बाज़ दर्द ऐसे होते हैं कि उसका इलाज भी जो है बहुत देर लगती है इलाज करने के लिए, वक्त को भी। वैसे अहमद बेग के अभी درد دور کرنے کے لیے وقت کو بہت ٹائم لگے گا. ساری زندگی یاد ہے کہ ایک دو دن کی بات نہیں ہے, ساری زندگی بات ہے. اور میں ایسے تو ان کے لیے بولنے کے بہت چیزیں ہیں ان کے ساتھ جو ہمارے گزارے 65 سال سے جانتے ہیں, تو کتنے بات کیسی بات نہیں ہوتی ہے. ایک زندگی ہوتی ہے 65 سال کی. تو اب تو خیر میں فی الحال کچھ پرویز میں کبھی تو بندی کر لیتا ہوں تھوڑی بہت. تو پرویز کا خیال تھا کہ میں کچھ لکھوں ان کے لیے, تو میں ایک ان کے بارے میں لکھا ہوں, میں پیش کرتا ہوں آپ لوگوں کو. مرزا احمد بیگ. درد بے کیف غم بے مزہ ہو گیا, درد بے کیف غم بے مزہ ہو گیا, بڑا بھائی ہم سے جدا ہو گیا. درد بے کیف غم بے مزہ ہو گیا, بڑا بھائی ہم سے جدا ہو گیا. یہ نام احمد بیگ صرف ایک نام ہی نہیں, یہ نام احمد بیگ صرف ایک نام ہی نہیں, یہ پیار محبت دوستی محبت کا نام ہے. یہ نام احمد بیگ صرف نام ہی نہیں, یہ پیار دوستی محبت کا نام ہے. اس میں چھپا ہوا ایک شوہر کا پیار ہے, بھائی بہن دوست سب اس پر نثار ہے. میں نے ایک عمر گزاری ہے ان کے ساتھ, میں نے ایک عمر گزاری ہے ان کے ساتھ, جاتے جاتے ملاقات کی لذت بھی لے گئے. ہاں اے یاد یار کیا کریں کس سے شکایتیں, اے یاد یار کیا کریں ہم کس سے شکایتیں, اے درد ہجر ہم تو پتھر کے ہو گئے. ہاں برسوں کے بعد دیکھا تھا ایک شخص دلربا, برسوں کے بعد دیکھا تھا ایک شخص دلربا, جو تاجدار حسن تھا اور خوش مزاج تھا. اہل عیال سے ان کو بے حد پیار تھا, ان کو بھی بیگ صاحب سے ویسا بھی پیار تھا. دوستوں کے دوست تھے, یاروں کے یار تھے. احمد بیگ شخص بہت خوش مزاج تھے. ہنسنا ہنسانا سب کو ان کا مزاج تھا. لطیفے سننے سنانے کا ان کو بڑا شوق تھا. حیدرآباد دکن بڑا ان کو عزیز تھا. تہذیب کا دکن کی وہ خود مثال تھے. حیدرآباد کی تہذیب کا اتنا شوق تھا کہ وہ خود ایسا لکھتا کہ حیدرآباد کے مثال بنے ہوئے ہیں. تو تہذیب حیدرآباد کی دکن بڑا ان کو عزیز تھا. تہذیب کا دکن کی وہ خود مثال تھے. محفل کوئی بھی ہوتی وہ محفل کی جان تھے. صد افسوس ہم کو چھوڑ کر چلے گئے, داغ رفاقت دے کر ہم کو چلے گئے. محفلیں بھی ہوں گی اب انجمنیں بھی ہوں گی, لیکن جو محفلوں کی جان تھا وہ چلا گیا. خدا حافظ.
یہ تھے ہمارے غلام خاکر صاحب. بے شکریہ آپ کا جو ہمارے درمیان آئے. دستگیر صاحب اگر آپ سن رہے ہیں تو آپ کی تصویر دکھائی نہیں دے رہی ہے, میوٹ پہ ہیں دستگیر صاحب. اوکے پھر آگے بڑھتے ہیں. تو میں جناب احسن سید صاحب سے درخواست کروں گا کہ وہ کچھ بڑے بھائی کے بارے میں کچھ بتائیں. جناب احسن سید, پالو آلٹو.
السلام علیکم.
وعلیکم السلام.
بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم, والصلاة والسلام علی رسولہ الکریم. الحمد للہ رب العالمین الرحمن الرحیم مالک یوم الدین. ایاک نعبد و ایاک نستعین, اہدنا الصراط المستقیم صراط الذین انعمت علیہم غیر المغضوب علیہم ولا الضالین, آمین. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. وَإِلَٰهُكُمْ إِلَٰهٌ وَاحِدٌ لَا إِلَٰهَ إِلَّا هُوَ الرَّحْمَٰنُ الرَّحِيمُ. ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم. موت سے کس کو رستگاری ہے, موت سے کس کو رستگاری ہے, آج وہ کل ہماری باری ہے. آگاہ اپنی موت سے کوئی بشر نہیں, سامان 100 برس کے ہیں پل کی خبر نہیں. لائی حیات آئے غزالی چلی چلے، اپنی خوشی نہ آئے نہ اپنی خوشی چلے۔ محترم نوابان دکن کی اس دار فانی سے روانگی ایک عالم تہذیب و تمدن کا باب بند کرتی ہے۔ نواب صاحب کی زندگی میں مجھ پر لازمی کر دیا تھا کہ میں نے صحیح خطاب سے سرفراز کروں، چنانچہ میں نے 2 خطاب تجویز کیے۔ ایک تو یہ تھا کہ 5واں مینار، اور دوسرا تھا نوابان دکن، اور دوسرا ہم نے اس کو تجویز کیا، مدرسہ عالیہ کی زرخیز کان سے نکلنے والا یہ سب سے قیمتی ہیرا، دکن کی تہذیب کا واحد نمائندہ تھا۔ صدر مدرس پوتھن کی قیادت میں انہوں نے بہترین انگریزی سیکھی، اردو میں تو ماہر ہی تھے۔ مجھے یاد ہے کہ جب آل سینٹس والوں نے نعرہ لگایا کہ عالیہ آل سینٹس سے جوتے کھا لیا، تو نواب نے بے اختیار پھپتی کسی، آل سینٹس نان سینس۔ نوابان دکن سے میری 35 سالہ دوستی میری زندگی کا ایک اہم حصہ ہے۔ اخلاق اور آداب کی بات چل رہی ہے تو یہ حدیث شریف سن لیجئے۔ حضرت عائشہ رضی اللہ تعالیٰ عنہا فرماتی ہیں کہ میں نے رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کو ارشاد فرماتے ہوئے سنا، مومن اپنے اچھے اخلاق کی وجہ سے روزہ رکھنے والے اور رات بھر عبادت کرنے والے کے درجے کو حاصل کر لیتا ہے۔ حضرت ابو داؤد کی یہ حدیث ہے، اور ہم دعا کرتے ہیں کہ اللہ تعالیٰ ہم سب کو اچھے اخلاق سکھائے۔ نواب صاحب نے ہمیں اخلاق کا سبق سکھا کے یہاں اس دنیا سے چلے گئے۔ نوابان دکن کے بارے میں ان کی حیرت انگیز معلومات قابل تحسین تھیں۔ خود میرے والد مرحوم مقبور کے بارے میں جتنا ان کو معلوم تھا مجھے بھی نہیں معلوم تھا۔ ان کی خصوصیات کے بارے میں مزید کچھ کہنا سورج کو چراغ دکھانا۔ خداوند قدوس انہیں غریق رحمت فرمائے اور ان کی لحد کو جنت کا ایک خوبصورت باغ بنائے۔ میں نے 2 خطات ان کی نظر کرتا ہوں، سنیے۔ جس کی رگوں میں خلجی و تغلق کا خون ہو، جس کی رگوں میں خلجی و تغلق کا خون ہو، اخلاق جس نے سیکھے زمین دکن سے سب، اخلاق جس نے سیکھے زمین دکن سے سب، اس بیگ نے سکھایا ہمیں تہذیب کا سبق، اس بیگ نے سکھایا ہمیں تہذیب کا سبق، یارب انہیں تو بخش دے یہ ہے وہاں کے اب۔ دوسرا خطہ سنیے۔ محترم نوابان دکن احمد بیگ، محترم نوابان دکن احمد بیگ، یہ تو تہذیب میں یکتا تو تمدن میں نیک، یارب تو انہیں سایہ رحمت میں جگہ دے دینا، یارب تو انہیں سایہ رحمت میں جگہ دے دینا، امتی ہیں تیرے محبوب کے بس اتنا دیکھ، امتی ہیں تیرے محبوب کے بس اتنا دیکھ۔ السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ۔
وعلیکم السلام۔ ایسے سید صاحب بے شکریہ جو آپ نے بڑے بھائی کے بارے میں اتنے معلومات بتائے۔ ہمارے درمیان جناب دستگیر صاحب موجود ہیں، وہ حیدرآباد میں ہیں، تو وہاں پر کافی دیر ہو چکی ہے، تقریباً 12 بجے، تو میں ان سے درخواست کروں گا کہ وہ یہاں سے آپ کی دعا کے لیے کچھ التجا ہے۔
بسم اللہ الرحمن، اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم، بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم، الف لام میم، ذالک الکتاب لا ریب فیہ ھدی للمتقین الذین یؤمنون بالغیب ویقیمون الصلاة ویؤتون الزکاة ومما رزقناہم ينفقون والذین یؤمنون بما انزل الیک وما انزل من قبلک وبالآخرة هم یوقنون أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون۔ لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وإن تبدوا ما في أنفسكم أو تخفوه يحاسبكم به الله فيغفر لمن يشاء ويعذب من يشاء والله على كل شيء قدير. آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله وقالوا سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إسرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. الرحمن علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان والأرض وضعها للأنام فيها فاكهة والنخل ذات الأكمام والحب ذو العصف والريحان فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان خلق الإنسان من صلصال كالفخار وخلق الجان من مارج من نار فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان رب المشرقين ورب المغربين فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان لا يستوي أصحاب النار وأصحاب الجنة أصحاب الجنة هم الفائزون. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس لعلهم يتفكرون والله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله أما يشركون والله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد لكم دينكم ولي دين قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى سيدنا محمد وسلم یا اللہ جو قرآن پڑھا گیا ہے اس کا ثواب حضور اکرم صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کے ارواح کو پہنچ کر سب پیغمبروں کے ارواح کو پہنچ کر سب ولیوں کو ارواح کو پہنچ کر بیگ صاحب کے ارواح کو پہنچے ان کے گناہوں کو معاف فرما ان کو جنت الفردوس میں جگہ فرما ان پر کروٹ خبر میں سکون و راحت عطا فرما ان پر رحمتوں کی بارش عطا فرما ان کو جنت الفردوس میں جگہ عطا فرما سبحان ربک رب العزت عما یصفون السلام علی المرسلین والحمد للہ رب العالمین ہوگا دعا ہوگی
جی بہت شکریہ دستگیر صاحب آپ کافی رات ہو گئی آپ کے پاس وہاں انشاءاللہ جی میں نیکسٹ جناب ملک خان صاحب سے درخواست کروں گا کہ وہ کچھ کہیں ٹورنٹو میں جو موجود ہیں آپ کا فون میوٹ ہے اس پہ انمیوٹ کیجئے نہیں میوٹ ہو گیا وہ ٹھیک
آپ کو سنے آ رہا
جی
تو میں شروع کروں
جی ضرور
السلام علیکم صاحب سب سے پہلی چیز میں یہ بتانا چاہتا ہوں کہ احمد بیگ صاحب ایک غیر معمولی انسان بھی نہیں تھے لیکن ایک ایسے انسان تھے جو سب کا دل لوٹ کے لے گئے بقول جگر مراد آبادی کے जो दिलों को फतह करे वही है फातेह ज़मां। अहमद भाई हमेशा हंसना बोलना और एक अजीब ही कैफियत पैदा कर देते थे गुफ्तगू में। तो आप जब उनके सामने रहते थे तो ऐसा मालूम होता कि हैदराबाद आपके सामने है। वो बखौल मखदूम के हयात लेके चलो, कायनात लेके चलो, चलो तो साथ सारे ज़माने को लेके चलो। तो ये इंसान के ऐसे खूबियाँ थे और हमेशा बोलते थे दिन गुजारो उम्र के इंसान हंसते बोलते, जान भी जाए तो मेरी जान हंसते बोलती। तो मैं जितनी उनकी तारीफ करूं और जितने चीज मैं उनसे सीखा हूं, हालांकि मेरे बुजुर्ग थे, मेरे बड़े भाई थे, मगर he treated me like a friend. पर परवेज, I would also like to say a few words for the grandchildren. पता नहीं उनकी उर्दू कैसी है, मगर I just want them to know that Ahmed Bhai was a vanguard of our Hyderabadi tehzeeb and culture and an epitome of grace and old world charm. He was warm, congenial, and a gentleman. The likes of him will not be seen more. A rare human being, a rare species of a person he was. Hyderabadi to his core, in his courteous manners and in his eloquence with words, his vibrant smile, and an infectious sense of humor. And एक बात भी करे तो जुमले में एक मजाक था, मैं बोलता था अहमद भाई दुआओं में याद रखना आप, तो बोलते थे इंशाल्लाह आप भी अपने दावतों में याद रखना मेरे को। तो ये उनकी खास खूबियत थी और सबका दिल लूट के ले गए हैं, सबके दुआएं लेके गए हैं और कोई ऐसा शख्स नहीं है जो जिससे उनकी वाबस्तगी हो जो उन्हें कभी भूल सकता है। और एक उनकी खास बात ये थी कि गैर मामूली हाफिजा था। He had a razor sharp memory and he could talk to you about Abkari, IS officers, ministers, cabinet, football, 49ers or everything. और अभी एक साहब फरमाए कि उनको दावतों का बहुत शौक था और वाकई में he was generous to the fault. वो कहते थे कि आमद मेहमान पे शुक्र खुदा अदा कर, अपना ही रिस्क खा रहे हैं तेरे दस्तखान पर। ये खास बात थी उनकी कि बस आओ जाओ खाओ पियो और लोगों को हंसाओ। और मैं कुछ नहीं कह सकता मगर कुछ चंद चीजें याद आए मेरे को। परवेज माफ करना,
जी
चंद दिनों से अपने दरमियान नहीं है वो शख्स, चंद दिनों से अपने दरमियान नहीं है वो शख्स, उदास करके हमें चल दिया कहाँ वो शख्स। उस एक शख्स में थी दिलरुबाई क्या क्या, हजार लोग मिलेंगे मगर कहाँ शख्स। शायद मैं अहले दिल बुलाऊं कैसे उन्हें, दिलों में दास्तां छोड़ गया वो शख्स। तू नहीं तेरी उल्फत तो अभी तक हमारे दिल में है, बुझ चुकी है शमा लेकिन रोशनी अभी तक महफिल में है। मैं अल्लाह ताला से दुआ करता हूँ कि महबूब भाभी को और उनके पूरे बच्चों को और आप सारे खानदान वालों को अल्लाह ताला सब्र जमील अता फरमाए और अहमद भाई को जन्नतुल फिरदौस, और वो हमेशा जिंदा है, जिंदा रहेंगे। और वो उनकी जो जिंदगी का जो उनका रहने का जो तरीका तौर तरीका था हम उसे बिल्कुल कायम रखेंगे। मेरे तरफ से सबको खुदाफिज। और परवेज आपको बिलखुसूस एक किस्म का शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहिए हम सब लोग जो आपने ये किया। और आप हैदराबाद के बेग गुलदस्ते के बहुत महकते हुए गुलाब है। मोहम्मद यापा को और जहाना को और हमारे तोरल भाई को, अहमद बेग सबको भाभी को, इमरान, सबको मेरे तरफ से दुआएं। अहमद भाई सब चीज ये सुन रहे हैं और बोल रहे होंगे बस बस करो, मैं इतनी तारीफ भी मेरी मत करो। उनका वो स्टाइल था। अल्लाह आप सबको सलामत रखे। खुदा हाफिज। सलाम अलैकुम।
शुक्रिया, शुक्रिया जनाब मलिक खान साहब, आपने अपना वक्त निकाला हमारे लिए। जी,
मेरा
तो
फख्र।
प्रोग्राम में डिवीएशन के लिए मैं रईस यावर से दरख्वास्त करूंगा ये कुछ अहमद बेग साहब के बारे में कुछ कहें।
जी, सलाम अलैकुम, आदाबर्स, मैं रईस यावर, I'm from Chicago. What can I say, that has not already been said about Janab Ahmed Baig साहब? और मेरे से पहले जो लोग बात किए, इतने अच्छे अशार बोले, I don't have anything long prepared. I just wanted to pay my respects to him और अपना पुरसा देना चाह रही थी मैं परवेज भाई को और उनके पूरी फैमिली को। Janab Ahmed Baig साहब was a Hyderabadi icon. Tehzeeb and akhlaq were personified by him. He left an indelible mark on everyone who knew him. And each and every time I met him, I was transported to an elite formal event in Hyderabad. That's the ability he had. And he reminded me of Hyderabadi royalty. And he was such an integral part of Charminar connection that I absolutely cannot imagine the next CC event without him. He will be greatly missed by Hyderabadis all over the world, but he will always remain in our duas and in our hearts. I love the tribute that was paid by his grandchildren. It is amazing how he treated everyone with utmost respect. And I know this runs in the family because Parvez Bhai, you are one of the most polite people that I've ever met in my life. May Allah grant him Jannatul Firdaus. He will, as I said, always remain in our hearts. Ameen. Thank you for letting me say a few words. Ji, Khudafiz.
Thank you, Rais. मैं नेक्स्ट जो है डॉक्टर मोहम्मद मजहर साहब से दरख्वास्त करूंगा कि वो कुछ अहमद बेग साहब के बारे में अपने ख्यालात जाहिर करें। मजहर भाई आपका वो म्यूट बता रहा, आप म्यूट है, म्यूट। अच्छा, you want some correction? Yeah, I can hear you.
Thank you.
Yeah, shukriya.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
It's an intense pleasure and honor and privilege to speak few words about my dearest friend, Mirza Ahmed Baig. What can I say which has not been said till now? Let's talk about the celebration about his life. What a wonderful person he was. I had an association with him for at least 60 years. I'm sure some of his friends are having association longer than that. I want to show a few instances of his pleasant life and jolly monologues he used to have. एक दफा का तस्करा है, ये 1970 की बात है कि हम मरहूम शफी जमा के घर में जमा हुए थे नायग्रा फॉल्स में, और कोई अबाउट 20 लोग जमा हुए थे। तो लोग खाना वाना खा के, सर्दी का मौसम था, चाहते थे कि सुबह ही निकल के अपने अपने घर चले जाएं। सो बाय 11:30 or 12 अहमद भाई अपने मोनोलॉग शुरू किए एक के बाद एक। तो लोग सुबह फजर तक जगते रहे, हालांकि दूसरे दिन उन लोगों को ड्राइव बैक करना था। ये थे उनके टैलेंट्स एंड ये थी उनकी मोहब्बत। और I have never met a person who is so talented and entertain you without any specific agenda. अच्छा, दूसरी चीज उनमें खास बात ये थी, मेरा तो साबिका उनके साथ बहुत ही अभी लेटली भी ऑलमोस्ट हर हफ्ते या हर महीने होता था. ही इज वेरी वेल रेड पर्सन, और कभी किसी बात में अगर डिफरेंसेस हो जाते या आर्गुमेंट हो जाते तो वो कभी उसको परसीव नहीं करते. द फार्मूला ऑफ 30 seconds he used to leave it there. He was never defending and trying to make what he said is right. बड़ी खास उनमें काबिलियत थी इस बात की. तो इंसान को ये एहसास होता था कि वाकई भाई हमें he knows more than what he is saying. दूसरी चीज उनके खास बात ये थी कि दावत देने का और लोगों को बुला के एंटरटेन करने का बड़ा शौक था. और मेरी ये खुशकिस्मती थी कि अहमद हमेशा मुझे फैमिली मेंबर की तरह समझते थे. इत्तेफाक से उनकी बहन मोहम्मदी मेरी वाइफ की बचपन की क्लास फेलो थी. सो इस तरीके से एक फैमिली रिलेशन थी. और फिर ऐसा हुआ कि उनकी डॉटर सुमेरा की शादी मेरे फैमिली के मेंबर शोएब के साथ हुई. इस लिहाज से कई रिश्ते जुड़ गए, मगर जो रिश्ता दोस्ती का, मोहब्बत का और इंसानियत का अहमद के साथ था वो तो बड़ा यूनिक है. आई एम श्योर ही इज एंटरटेनिंग तो जन्नत के हूरों को, और मेरे ख्याल में वो अतराफ जमा हुए होंगे उनके अपने जोक सुनने के लिए. अल्लाह सबको, सब मुताल्लिकीन को, उनके फैमिली मेंबर्स को सब्र अता फरमाए. एंड आई हैव लॉस्ट ए पर्सन who always used to entertain us every time I talk to him. खास बात ये होती कि जब भी हम टेलीफोन कॉल करते हैं तो एक दूसरे को नवाब के नाम से एड्रेस करते थे. बस इससे ज्यादा और क्या कहूँ कि हजारों साल नरगिस अपनी बेनूरी पे रोती है, बड़ी मुश्किल से होता है चमन में दीदावर पैदा. अल्लाह उनको जन्नत नसीब करे और उनके फैमिली को सब्र अता करे. आमीन. अस्सलाम वालेकुम.
आमीन. शुक्रिया जनाब मजहर साहब. मैं जनाब मोहम्मद याकूब साहब से दरख्वास्त करूंगा कि वो अपना कुछ बयान दें. ये लॉस एंजलिस में मुकीम हैं. याकूब साहब म्यूट पे हैं आप. मोहम्मद याकूब साहब.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Parvez?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Salam alaikum.
आपकी तस्वीर नहीं दिखा. जी.
How can I get myself on the video? Start the video, it says. Okay.
Okay.
Can you see me now?
Let's see. Okay. आप कुछ कहिए फिर we'll go from it. I can hear you.
Can you see me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Okay. Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Mirza Ahmed Baig inspired me more than 70 years ago. He was my classmate in Madrasa Aliyah. We grew up together and he taught me how to smile. He taught me how to have smile on your face. And he always continued his monologues and everything. And one time he said a small story, which was a monologue plus a small story and a sense of humor. And I wrote down that one. I sent it to Rahnumai Dakkan in Urdu, and it was published as under the title of Taqreer. That means I lived the life of Mirza Ahmed Baig. He told me how to keep smile on your face. Now, somebody just said, I think Dr. Mazhar said that he had a formula of 30 seconds, and he used to say the monologues. He said his monologues at Niagara Fall House of Shafiur Zama, and then everybody was listening to him. I remember Johnny Carson. He was a master of monologue. The first time I heard him in 1963, it reminded me of Ahmed Baig, because he inspired me. He inspired me being a classmate of mine in Madrasa Aliyah, and people learn from their elders, but I learned from my classmate and from my friend. The first thing when I heard from Parvez Bhai about his demise, I was devastated. Then I read the tribute paid by Nabila Salim, Ambiya Salim, Ismail Baig, I think Suleiman Baig, and his other grandchildren. When they said that one, I had tears in my eyes. But I said, no, I should continue to have a smile on my face. And you know, his grandchildren said, and I cannot add anything more, but he said, his was the culmination of full and generous life. He was surrounded by all the loved one when he was going away to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At that time, his grandchildren wrote that everybody was around him and he had a smile on his face. So a man who smiled on his face, he was my role model. And he taught me how to smile. He knew politics, he knew everything, and he would talk something. The best thing I heard about him today was, which made me very, very happy, was that when everybody used to say, when we had the cricket matches, and everybody used to say, the All Saints people used to say, Alia, Jute Khalia. The first time I heard somebody say today that he used to say, all sense is nonsense. I had never heard that one. From now on, I'm going to use that one because some of my Hyderabadi friends who are from Alia, they use this term to talk to me, and I'll say, all sense nonsense. What more can I say? I want to end with 2 or 3 things. One of them is he lived a life which was a perfect full life, and his grandchildren have explained it everything in their tribute to him. And he had love in his heart. And one of the share which comes to my mind, रखते हैं जो औरों के लिए प्यार का जज्बा, वो लोग कभी टूट के बिखरा नहीं करते. Or his monologues and his way of life and his smile on his face reminds me of another share which says, क्या जाने साथ छोड़ दे ये जिंदगी कहाँ, हंसते हुए ज़माने में सबसे मिला करो. And the 2 things which I want to say is that he lived a purposeless life, and about the people who live a purposeless life, they live forever. They live in the hearts of the people, and they live ever and ever until the Qiyamah, day of Qiyamah. And it is said that Rumi had one time said, the people who don't live a purposeful life, they'll die while they are still alive. And this is what I think Rumi said, if you die before you die, then you don't die when you die. So that is what his philosophy was, to live a life and spread the smile and spread love to everybody. And he not only spread love, but at the time of his demise, he was showing them to smile, and he was telling them, because this all his grandchildren, I think Ismail Baig, Ibrahim Baig, Suleiman Baig, Ambiya Salim, and Nabila Salim, they all reminds me of one thing, which one of the greatest American Muslim leader has said. You might have heard about him. He's from Los Angeles. His name is senior moment. I can't remember his name. He's a member of, he was the president of Muslim Public, Maher Hathout. Maher Hathout, he had said, your country is not where your grandparents are buried. Your country is not where your grandparents are buried. Your country is where your grandchildren are being raised. So he lived in a country where his grandchildren were. He lived with his grandchildren. And this is what I remember him. I remember him every time. And he and Parvez Bhai, I am so thankful to them. If I do not believe in Avagavan or the reincarnation, but I said and I wrote in Charminar Connection that Charminar Connection has given me another life, because it brought me back and launched me from Los Angeles into Hyderabad, and everything which was forgotten or which was tangled up in my brain came out, and it started coming way back. And I started remembering about 70 years ago what happened to me was to learn from a classmate how to smile. And then the first time I met him was at the Alia reunion in Los Angeles in 2012. And then again, I invited him for my daughter's marriage in 2012. I think the Alia union was 2011. And a year later, I invited him. He was busy, and I think he had already had medical issues, but he did not care. He was carrying his cane. He came to Los Angeles in the afternoon, and after the marriage, 11 o'clock, he went back to the airport and went back to San Francisco. I mean, and so I can see that he loved everybody, and he spread love and he spread smile. So even every time when I was listening or reading the Reader's Digest, laughter is the best medicine, he would remind me. So he was always with me. I mean, he will remain with me. And this sadness is going to live with me forever. And I want to end with reciting Surah Fatiha. May Allah give him Jannatul Firdaus. And I'm going to read Surah Fatiha. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. May Allah give him Jannatul Firdaus and give his family, his missus and his whole family, his grandchildren, his brothers and sisters, everybody, Sabr Jameel. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.
आमीन। बेहद शुक्रिया याकूब भाई, आपने अपनी कीमती वक्त हमारे लिए निकाला। Before I conclude, that was the last speaker we had. And before I conclude, there was a share that Fazal Siddiqui from Canada has sent me to read it to you. He said about Ahmed Bhai, कि उनकी तरफ से है ये कि यादगार ज़माना है हम, याद रखना फसाना है हम. So that concludes my section. I give it back to Farah to take over from here. I highly appreciate your patience. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Parviz Chacha. So now we're going to hear from Anbiya, his granddaughter. She's the daughter of Sumaira and Shoaib Salim. So Anbiya, I'll let you take the floor.
Everybody. The past 2 weeks have been a whirlwind of emotions. It's a strange thing to be in this constant state of flux, pulled between sadness and joy, going from one to the other so quickly, it's as if someone flipped a switch. Between every fond memory we share, there are tears, and then a smile, and then hope. I always knew my Nana was popular. I knew people were fond of him. But until this week, I had no idea how many hearts he truly touched. Never in my life have I ever seen such a flood of phone calls, messages, and prayers. All people coming forward to share not only condolences, but stories and gratitude, and to grieve alongside us, because we aren't the only ones who lost him. It was so surreal to be in a room full of his friends and see the love pour out of their eyes, to realize they loved him just as much as I did. People who were not blood relatives, but true, genuine friends. People who chose to take him as a brother, as an uncle, as part of their family. My Nana was not just a pillar of the community. He was the glue that held it together. I grew up with not only pride, but a sense of responsibility, knowing that everywhere I went, I was introduced as Ahmed Baig's granddaughter. He was a lot to live up to, in the best way. Of course, no one could ever match his charm, his charisma, or his elegance, but I always tried my best to make him proud. There were 3 things I knew he loved more than anything else in the world: his family, Hyderabad, and breakfast, in that order. He was always very interested in my experience as a first-generation Hyderabadi American. I could tell how much he wanted his grandchildren to appreciate his home as much as he did. We'd have long conversations about Hyderabad, how it was in the old days, how he attended school with the Nizam. He'd share memories of his mother and his father. We had a very special relationship. He was more than just our grandfather. He was our friend. There were no formalities between us. We shared jokes, food, gossip, secrets. He was not shy to correct us when we were wrong or give us advice when we didn't ask for it. That's how we knew how much he loved us. He wanted us to be the best we could be. He cared enough to help us become better people, better daughters, better granddaughters, better friends, and better Muslims. I will never forget writing articles for Charminar Connection with him. It was his pride and joy, and I am so incredibly honored that he wanted to share it with me. Every banquet, every school reunion, every gathering was so important to him. He devoted his life to upholding Hyderabadi tehzeeb and culture. With his wife at his side, he could do anything. They were true soulmates, the kind everyone prays for. They supported each other through everything, and when it was done, they always came out stronger. My Nana adored his wife. You could hear it in the way he spoke to her. He never used her real name. Whenever he needed her, he'd call out, Jilani Pasha, oh, Jilani Pasha. He had nicknames for all the women in his life. For my mom, Summujan, he'd always say it in the sweetest voice, never harsh, never tense. And for my sister and I, Barima and Chotima, the sound of him calling out to us will forever be ingrained in my mind. But I would give anything to hear it again. My Nana loved his family. He cherished his 2 sisters, and they doted on him like he was a prince. His 4 brothers were his best and closest friends. As the eldest sibling, it was clear how much everyone looked up to him for guidance, for support, and for validation. He was so proud of his family. You couldn't tell him he didn't have the best wife and the best children in the whole world. To say he adored them does not do him justice. When I look at my mom and her 2 brothers, I can see it in them. Everything he worked hard for, all of his prayers, all of his love, it's not gone. I see it takes care of, always going above and beyond for others, even strangers, the same way he taught her. I can see it in my mamu, the way he works hard, the way he takes care of his family, just like Nana, and in Chota Mamu, with every smile, every laugh. That's Nana's love. And most of all, I see the strength he gave my Nani. She is the strongest, most incredible woman I have ever met. Through every up and down, she has shown optimism, gratitude, and poise. And he knew exactly how special she was. She has always been his rock. Even an eternity would not have been enough time with my Nana. But there is comfort in knowing that my cousins, my sister, and I can look to our parents and still see him every day. As some of you may know, exactly 1 week after losing my Nana, my Dada passed away as well. It has been devastating and at times unbearable to have lost the two men I look up to the most. It doesn't feel like I've lost two grandfathers. It feels like I've lost two dads. Still, I'm very lucky that I have my Nana's 6 siblings to look up to. They have some very large shoes to fill, but I am so grateful for every one of them. My Nana was an incredible husband, father, and grandfather. He will be sorely missed, but never forgotten. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anbiya, for those very powerful words. It truly shows what an incredible man Daya Baba was. Now I'd like to introduce Choti Popi to say a few words about Daya Baba, please.
Thank you, Farah. And I cannot tell you how overwhelming this session was for me. Excuse me. I wasn't prepared for it. But on behalf of all my siblings, thank you very much, everyone, for your tremendous outpouring and heartfelt sentiments and love. You cannot imagine what a great source of comfort it has been for us and continues to be. You know, as you all felt, it has not been easy for those who love Bhaijan to deal with his passing, but we all have some part of his memories that keep us up and going. Bhaijan lived a life based upon doing whatever he could to make a positive impact on others. Growing up with Bhaijan was like living in a therapeutic cell. End of the day, we would circle around him and let him detox us of our daily stresses and challenges. As he used to say, the best way to cope with adversity is to have a good laugh. A good laugh indeed did wonders for us. He also taught us that we don't have to fight for our space on earth. We can create our own space, not by topping others, but topping ourselves. The lessons well learned that truly stuck with us. For that, thank you, Bhaijan. His last years were most rewarding, especially for us sisters, Mamadi and I. After adding several decades to our lives of working and raising families, we all retired and were fortunate to land close to him once again. He was back in the center stage and in command, reminiscing and inspiring us all. Together, we created a hub for many heartwarming family reunions. Even being bedbound, his spirits were sky high. Not for a day did he feel he was deprived of mobility or enjoying company. Every time we met, he was always planning the next big get-together of family and friends with a lavish display of Hyderabadi cuisine and culture. Just like our father, he was a very good storyteller, fascinating and mesmerizing. Bhaijan, in my opinion, was a very blessed man in every way. Intelligent, good-looking, with a magnetic personality. But what he cherished the most in his life was his wife, Mehboob Bhabi, his dedicated companion of 57 years. His 3 kids, Sumaira, Imran, Abrar, and 5 beautiful grandkids. Most wonderful addition to his family of daughter-in-law, Sarah, and Shuaib as his son-in-law, always by his side. And what really kept him going during the day was his daily dose of phone calls with siblings and his friends was a great treat and an energizer for him. He was very, very grateful of his life. Even with our fading memories, he will be remembered not only for his spontaneous and so well delivered sense of humor, but his extensive historical and general knowledge, and above all, his artistic talent of making personal connections. People were just drawn to him. Although we all gathered here to mourn Bhaijan, he can never truly leave us. we can still see him in the eyes and feel him in our hearts of his family and his vast circle of friends. May Allah elevate him to the highest place in Jannah, and may Allah bless you all for being part of his very memorable life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Choti Pupi. It really gave us another awesome glimpse of his life and how many people he touched every day of his life. Now I'd like to introduce Shehbaz to say a few words, his nephew.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi barakatuh, everyone. My elders, my cousins and friends, and my nieces and nephews. I gotta be honest with you. I wasn't prepared to listen to Ambia's eulogy and Jimmy's, my khala's eulogy. Very touching. It came from the heart. I didn't actually prepare to speak anything today. I was going to speak from the heart myself, but the emotions that I'm feeling right now, especially listening to those two, my feelings are still really raw. I know I had spoken with Mazhar Uncle last week. Mazhar Uncle, thank you again for your tribute to my Mamu Jan, who was not only a Mamu to me, he's also one of my best friends. I can honestly say that. So Mazhar Uncle and I were going to do our own little intimate little get together. And if you're interested in joining to be a part of that, please either reach out to Ghulam Uncle, my Munna Mamu, my Khala, who I affectionately call Jimmy, or my mom, Imran, my Mumanijan, Mehboob Mumanijan. If you're interested in being a part of that, please let me know. I plan on doing something after the 40-day mark. So I'll just keep it pretty short for now. I will say that Mamu Jan was a living testimony to some sound advice that I've received many years ago. And that advice was to have a happy life. The advice was always to keep companionship of people that are 15 to 20 years older than you. Keep companionship with people of your own generation, and then keep companionship with people much junior than you, 15 to 20 years, 30 years, what have you. And Mamu Jan had done that. I remember we had close friends with Dr. Manan Uncle, who passed away several years ago. Was very good friends, and he was very good friends with me as well. He kept friends of all generations, including the grandchildren and their children. He could make anybody laugh. He had the infectious smile. I know every time I greeted him, he greeted me with this big, genuine smile that made me feel special about who I am. It's a very rare quality in a person. I also want to echo Malik Uncle from Toronto for what you've said about him. All true. Rais Auntie from Chicago. What you nailed it when you described his characteristic. And Yaqub Uncle. Thank you so much for everything you said. Also, it was very nice to see Ghulam Dustin Uncle. Thank you for the beautiful recitation of the Quran. May Allah give that barakat that you gave for Mamu Jan, that he gets it and be rewarded for that. Thank you very much. I didn't have anything prepared, but there is a poem that I came across several years ago, over 20 years ago, that I always found comfort with whenever someone close to me had passed away. And I hope this will bring you comfort as well for all of you. The name of the poem is called I Watch You Go. It was written in 1996 by Susanna Thompson. And Ghulam Dastakir, or Ghulam Khadr Uncle, I know you read you read an original piece. I'm not as talented as you. I have to read from somebody else's. So again, thank you for your beautiful poem of my Mamujan. I watch you go. I see your eyes, one final glance as you look back at me, and we both know it's time. Although I swore I would never have to let you go, it's a promise I cannot keep. I need to live, and you need to grow. My heart falls back onto itself, and I just bend my knees and lower my center to withstand the buffet of the winds that will blow by me and through me without you standing there to shelter me. The tether is cut, and you are free to fly, and I lose an anchor, and my cheeks burn from the icy wind, and the few tears that sneak past the walls that I'm leaning on so that I can stand and watch you go. And someday soon, I think, I will find a haven where I can cry the tears and let the salt water cleanse the wounds so they can begin to heal. But now is not the time. One hand raised, I salute you with a wave goodbye, wishing you all the blessings of this earth. And when we meet again, it won't be the same, but we will always know how much we loved and trusted and shared victories, losses, adventures, and just the passage of time. Look back no more, eyes to the future, and I will just stand here and watch you go.
Thank you so much, Shehbaz, for sharing that. That was a beautiful poem, and beautiful words that you had to say. So now I'd like to turn the floor to Ibrahim, his grandson, to say a few words. Ibrahim is the son of Imran and Sarah.
Assalamu alaikum, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Farah Hopi. I don't have as long as of a dua as some of the others on here, but I just wanted to read Dura Ibrahim, Surah Fatiha, the three Quls, and then a short dua in English for my dada. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamid wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahmanir Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, ihdinas siratal mustaqim, siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim, ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahus samad, lam yalid wa lam yulad, wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul a'udhu bi rabbil falaq min sharri ma khalaq wa min sharri ghasiqin idha waqab wa min sharri nafathati fil 'uqad wa min sharri hasidin idha hasad. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas, malikin nas, ilahin nas, min sharril waswasil khannas alladhi yuwaswisu fi sudurin nas minal jannati wan nas. O Allah, forgive my dada and elevate his station among those who are guided. Send him along the path of those who came before, and forgive us in him, O Lord of the worlds. Enlarge for him his grave and shed light upon him in it. O Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, forgive and have mercy upon him. Excuse him and pardon him, and make honorable his reception. Expand his entry and cleanse him with water, snow, and ice, and purify him of sin as a white robe is purified of filth. Exchange his home for a better home. Admit him into the garden. Protect him from the punishment of the grave and the torment of the fire. O Allah, Dada is under your care and protection, and so protect him from the trial of the grave and the torment of the fire. Indeed, you are faithful and truthful. Forgive and have mercy upon him. Surely you are the all-forgiving, the most merciful. O Allah, forgive our living and our dead, those who are with us and those who are absent, our young and our old, our menfolk and our womenfolk. O Allah, whoever you give life from among us, give him life in Islam, and whoever you take away from us, take him away in the faith of Islam. O Allah, do not forbid us their reward and do not send us astray after them. Jazakallah.
Thank you, Ibrahim. So we're going to close today with a few words from Imran, his son. And once Imran speaks, that'll be the end of our meeting today.
Thank you, Farah. Thank you, Muna Chacha. Assalamu alaikum. And I agree with everybody else. Those dear people who spoke previously, it was very touching. If I may, I just wanted to start by sharing my vision of a dad in general. Dads are someone to look up to, someone to follow, someone to admire, someone to be proud of, someone to brag about, someone to hold and someone to cry with, someone to learn with, learn from, someone to respect, someone to listen to, and sometimes to talk to, sometimes to try and impress, sometimes to rebel against, and most of all, with whom to share everything this wonderful life has to offer. And I will tell you, I experienced all of these things with my dad. He wasn't just my father, but he was also a great friend of mine. But it's not just a family I want to focus on. Good friends are very important. They're vital to your mental health and to the quality of your life. Friendship is an opportunity to love, to learn about yourself, and to also open up to this whole full experience of life. And to seek true friendship on a very practical level, you must be willing to invest necessary time and effort to develop, to nourish, and to maintain the bonds of a strong relationship. We've heard today many of the joys my father brought to all of you. And for that, my family is truly humbled by the outpouring of your kind words. But I also want to just change the narrative for a moment and share just how fortunate my dad was and blessed to have friends like all of you. I saw firsthand over the years that my dad's friendships, for some it was instantaneous, others it took some time, but I saw how you called each other, you wrote to each other, and you made a sincere effort to be with each other. I saw how willing you were to know one another, and it was much deeper than just the superficial things. I saw the respect that you had for each other to allow both of you to be yourselves in this relationship and allow yourselves to be different without disapproving of each other. A friend has to be important enough to make a significant space for them in your life and in your heart. And I will tell you, you were that important to my dad. With words and touch, you have to tell your friend that you care, which you did. You have to be willing to stand by your friend through thick and thin, which you did. And this isn't always easy. There are too many beloved friends to mention by name today, so forgive me if I can't, say all of them. But your phone calls, your letters, and your visits, they all meant the world to my dad. If I may, one particular name comes to mind, Mother Uncle, such a wonderful man. He would come over in the final years when my dad was no longer mobile, bringing my dad's favorite breakfast to our house from IHOP. And even though he loved Hyderabadi food and culture, there was something about a good old American breakfast that he just couldn't resist. My family, which includes my chachas, my puppies, we have immense gratitude from the bottom of our heart for being there for my dad. He was fond of all of you. He valued the connection he had with you. And he even enjoyed remembering and talking about you. I had many conversations with him, but most of all, I will tell you, he enjoyed spending time with you. It's something he truly cherished. So thank you from Sarah and me. Thank you from my sister Samira and her husband Shoaib. Thank you from my brother Abrar. And thank you from the best, the closest, the dearest, and most loving friend my dad ever had, my mother Mehboob. Jazakallah.
Thank you. I also wanted to thank Ali Arhan for suggesting this meeting with us. And extreme thanks goes to Bade Bhabhi for all these years that we love the whole family for them. And this concludes, I think, today's program. We'll be inshallah seeing you. Khuda Hafiz.